In this tutorial, you'll learn how to add sound effects to your scenes. The Dreamiverse already contains tons of ready-made sounds, and we're going to use some of them right now to bring this scene to life. First, let's switch over to play mode and see how it all sounds at the moment. Quiet, isn't it? Just doesn't feel right. In fact, it's creeping me out. So let's head back into edit mode and switch over to sound mode so we can start adding some sounds. Find the modes menu in the assembly menu. As you can see, there are lots of different modes, each with its own set of tools for doing different things. We're still in assembly mode right now, but if you select the speaker symbol icon with X, we'll switch to sound mode. That's better. In the next step, we'll start adding sounds to the scene. OK, the first thing we need to do is start adding some background sounds. See the icon with the magnifying glass in the sound menu? That's the search button. Select it now to see all different types of sounds you can add. Now select the speaker icon to search for sound effects. This is the Dreamiverse, where you can find all the stuff other dreamers have made. I've set aside a collection of sound effects for you in here. That's what this cluster is. It's full of different sound effects for you to use. Select it with X to open it. I've arranged the sound effects into groups. To get a proper overview, use the right stick to zoom in or out of the collection. This group of sound effects are background sounds, and you can hear a preview of each sound by hovering over them with your imp. Find something that you think fits the dreamy atmosphere of the scene. I rather like Dream Space. When you've found a sound you like, select it with X. Your imp now has a gadget with the sound you selected, so you can stamp it into your scene with R2 any place you like. It doesn't matter where, since background sounds can be heard everywhere in a scene. Now let's play the scene with R3 and see how it all sounds. Ah, much better. Notice how much more alive the scene feels with just that one sound. Just imagine how it will feel with even more sound effects. But no need to imagine it. You can start adding more now to create a layered and unique ambience. If you want to replace a sound effect, just stamp a different one over it. When you've got things sounding just how you want them, rewind the scene with L3 and move on to the next step. Background sounds really help to create an immersive atmosphere. But to add sound to a specific object in the scene, you need to use what we call a spot sound. Let's try it out with the fire between the platforms. I'm sure we can find some fire sound effects in the collection. Let's take a look. Select Search Sound Effects from the sound menu. Because we opened the tutorial collection in the last step, it's still open when we come back to the Dreamiverse. How handy. Aha, just what we need. Some fire sound effects. Have a listen to some of the fire sounds and pick one you like. Once you've selected it, your imp will be equipped with a spot sound effect. See those rings coming off the gadget? That's the sound's fade zone. The rings show you how the sound fades away as you move further from the source. Let's stamp that sound between the first two platforms, above the fire, and see what that sounds like. If you want to see the sound's fade zone, select the gadget with X. Click R3 to hear the sound effect. You'll notice the sound is louder the closer you move towards it with the left stick. As you move away and out of the fade zone, it gets quieter until you can't hear it at all. You can press circle now to deselect the sound effect, then click L3 to rewind the scene. And if you're happy with your spot sound, move on to the next step. Things haven't been too tricky for Connie so far, but even with her mighty jumping skills, the next gap looks a bit too big for her. Let's fly over to that floating platform with the left and right sticks and get a closer look at it. Looks like there's a trigger zone attached to it. Why don't we switch over to play mode and see what it does? Well, will you look at that? It lights up the platform when Connie steps on it. Lovely! You know what would make it even better, though? If it made a sound, too. So let's switch back to edit mode and make that happen. I've got a feeling you can find something in the tutorial collection to use here. Go to the assembly menu and go back into sound mode. Now go to search and select search sound effects. Over here are some energy sound effects. Have a listen to a few. Pick a sound effect for your light up platform. I quite like the sound of Dream Terminal, but see which one you like and select it with X. Now it's time to stamp it in the scene, somewhere near the platform. In the next step, I'll show you how to trigger the sound effect. As we've already seen, background and spot sounds will play constantly if placed in the scene like this. But for the platform, we want the sound to be triggered by Connie. And for that to happen, we need to glow. Moving closer to the platform with the left and right sticks. And take a good look at the trigger zone gadgets. See how there's an output port that says detected when you hover over it? Well, that means it will trigger when it detects a possessed puppet, like Connie. So all we have to do to make the sound effect activate when Connie's on the platform is connect the output to the sound effect. Let's do that now. When you select the detected port with R2 or X, you'll see your imp becomes tethered to the ports by a wire. Gadgets communicate with each other with wires like this. You'll also notice that a power port has appeared on the bottom of the sound effect gadget. All you have to do to connect the two gadgets is hover over that power port and press R2 or X. Time to head into play mode and see how that sounds. When you're ready, switch back to edit mode and start the next step. Hey, I just realised, we got so caught up in these sound effects, we forgot to add another platform for Connie. She must be getting impatient, so let's sort that out for her. The easiest thing to do would be to clone the platform. Remember how to do that? Just hover over it, hold L1, and press and hold R2. Once the clone has been created, let go of L1. Move it to the right spot, then release R2 to place it down. When you clone an object, any gadgets attached to it will come along for the ride. So all you need to do now is wire the trigger zone on the second platform to the sound effect. Or better yet, grab a new sound effect from the collection for some variety. It should always go with their instincts. Whichever way you choose to go, move on to the next step when you're ready.